Hi, and welcome. We're really happy here today. We're joined by Wayan Iverson here just for a little bit of time, a little bit of questions. We're super happy to have you here. Thank you for giving us some of your time. I know that tourney weekends can be pretty hectic. Hachi, I did not introduce you right at the start, but you are also here with us with a couple questions of your own.
Yeah, super excited to be here. Honored to meet you. Very excited.
As an introduction, I do want to ask you just a little bit about you, where you're from, how long you've been playing TFT, just the general stuff.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Wayan Iverson. I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I've been playing TFT since. I've been playing casually since set one, but I started playing competitively around like set six or set seven. And yeah, recently I've been part of the TPC Pro circuit, and I've also been trying to grow my stream. So I've been streaming very consistently and trying to just become like a big streamer in the TFT community as well.
Nice. Hell yeah. You said you've been playing casually since about set one, but more competitively for still a while now. I do want to ask, like, what kind of brought you to committing to playing competitively in TFT rather than continuing as a casual player?
Oh yeah, so I used to play a lot more like League of Legends and Valorant, and I only played like a little bit of TFT because that was like kind of the other Riot game, and I saw some like big streamers play it. But I think at set six I got kind of bored of those other games, and I started to really have like a lot of fun playing TFT. And I was also like climbing very quickly, so I think I hit Challenger in around like 300 games, and yeah, just the feeling of like improving like very quickly at a game was like very fun. That was pretty hard stuck in the other games, so I think that kind of
Yeah,
brought me to TFT.
that's fair. That's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in. I had the chance to cast some of your games yesterday on the co-stream, and one of the choices you made was super exciting. There was a game four choice yesterday where you chose the Golden Dragon augment. And I know this augment doesn't get a lot of love from a lot of pro players and a lot of the sort of high level players, but you chose it and you ended up getting a 3-star Kaisa with 1 life left and you ended up winning the whole lobby. So just wanted to ask, how do you come up with these strategies in these high pressure moments? Is something like that a well prepared sort of secret tech choice, or is it more so just cooking in the moment, an in the moment assessment? What kinds of things fuel these kinds of decisions?
Yeah, so I think I knew in advance that the Golden Dragon is actually quite a strong augment, and it's also like quite strong in that comp in my spot because I had like a 2 item Cho'Gath too, so it gives me like a third item for my 2-star Cho'Gath. And yeah, I was also like really poor at the time, so it gives me like third item for my 2-star Cho'Gath and also money. And I also knew that it was kind of like an underrated augment in the first place. And yeah, I think it's also pretty synergistic with like the Void Kaisa comp because that comp plays a little bit like a Fairy Callista Rakan comp. You really want to like have your Kaisa keep your Rift Herald alive in like a really really tanky Rift Herald, and the Golden Dragon does like a really good job of that. So yeah, I thought it was like an augment that made a lot of sense in my spot, and yeah, I think it's an augment that's just generally kind of underrated by the community right now.
Yeah, definitely seeing it pan out with the really humongous Rift Herald, which, as long as that Rift Herald's alive, Kaisa is going to be casting, made a lot of sense once we saw it. It was very cool to see. Another quick question is, you're famous for some generational ranked ladder runs, right? Where you garner sort of win after win for really great average placements, and you've now won the Shrima Cup this set already, and now you're making it to the final day of the Bilgewater Cup. What fuels your consistency in a game that seems to change constantly, right? How do you manage to be consistently great in a game that's sort of changing all the time with all these patches and is also full of random chance?
Yeah, I think definitely a big part of it is just being very motivated, and like I really love to play TFT, so I'm always just very motivated to keep up with the game's meta, and like I just want to be like the best player that I can. So yeah, very motivated to always like stay improving and stay in like my top form. So I think that is really what comes down to my consistency. As for some of those ladder runs, probably like playing a lot and like a little bit of luck, but also just sometimes when you're like winning a lot, you get like kind of in the zone or you have like a really good read on a patch. And yeah, sometimes I just feel like yeah, sometimes like when you really get a patch, it almost feels like you can't bot four. So um, yeah, that's what I would say.
Amazing. Well, excited to see you continue to maintain that consistency. Looking forward to more games today. Domino, you also have some more questions, I think, right?
Of course. I mean, for me, more specifically, I'm a big fan of how you seem to have some friendly and kind of funny competitive moment, particularly with bustle skills that we saw a lot of their games as well. How's it been getting to compete like with and against simultaneously people that you study with and work towards TFT goals with?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun competing with them. We've been like close friends for around like 3 years now. It is kind of like interesting incentives to have like study groups in TFT because yeah, you are like competing against these people and you're also helping them. But I definitely figure that like the help that I get and the help that all of we get definitely outweighs like the fact that you're competing against them. And at the end of the day, like I also want to see my friends succeed. So like Darth Nub won the Bilgewater Cup this morning. He's also part of our study group. I was super happy to see him succeed. Um, and yeah, Bossa Skills and I, like we have some like funny like dynamics where we just like joke around a lot. Like in the first tournament, he was complaining a lot that I was high rolling in all of his lobbies. And this tournament, he high rolled a lot in all of my lobbies. So now it's like my turn to complain about that. So yeah, we just have some like fun like banter dynamics like that.
That's lovely. I think that, for TFT not technically being a team game unless you're playing 4v4s, like there's an odd, large amount of groups finally that are formed for a game that is played by yourself. Speaking of the game, how do you feel about the patch? We always ask this because every time there's a new tourney, there's a new patch.
Yeah, it's a very forecast centric patch, but I don't think that any lines are like so like far above the rest, which actually makes it feel like pretty good to play. I think the one kind of gripe that I would have is that it's really expensive to go to level 9, and yeah, a lot of games are just won by capping around the 3-star forecasts. So I think if they made level 9 like a little bit cheaper again, then that would add like some more skill expression of like when do I go level 9, and also adding like some more fast 9 strategies into the game, which kind of feel like they've like completely fallen out of favor with the level 9 changes. But I do think it's like a pretty good and balanced patch, and I've been having a lot of fun playing on it.
Specifically about yesterday, how did you feel about day 2 and even day 1, actually, now that we're here? If there's anything that surprised you, I know that a lot of people were going into like watching this tournament expecting to see many things, but what is it that for you specifically kind of surprised you? Either something that was played a lot or not enough?
Yeah, I felt like on day 1, I felt like Seraphine Lissandra was very overplayed. I think you could see it by the statistics. It was the highest play rate comp, and I had worse than a 5 average placement in both regions. So in game 2, I decided to try to avoid playing that comp like as much as possible. I did end up playing it once, and I'm still willing to play it if I'm kind of forced to play it. But I do think it's like quite overplayed right now, so I've been trying to avoid it. Other than that, I've been very happy with my play. I think one thing that I could definitely improve on, which I've been noticing throughout this tournament, is that I've been making some like poor augment choices, which is a little bit unusual for me. But other than that, I think I've been playing very well, and I'm pretty happy with how I've been playing.
I mean, we agree. I don't think that, we were watching closely and we've seen you have a great performance, honestly, overall. Hachi, I know that you had a couple more things to ask before we let you go.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, do you have any other players that are sort of like on your radar right now for this final day where you're like, I gotta watch out for this guy. This person could be a pretty major threat in the last day. Anyone you might have to you worry about having to compete against, or are you just sort of very confident going into the day?
I'm pretty confident. I hope that if I don't win, Bossa Skills wins because he's my friend and he's part of my study group, and I think it would be great to have like more people to prepare for Worlds with. Other than that, I do think Dishsoap's like a very big threat in this final lobby, and he's like a really great player. And yeah, I think he's definitely someone to look out for on this final day.
A lot of sense. Gonna be cool to see all of you guys compete. One more question is, if you have recommendations, a lot of us are also trying to climb the ladder, trying to get better at TFT. So for anyone back at home or, here on the cast, what's your best recommendations for players who are trying to look to study, improve their gameplay? What should they try to focus on? Any ideas?
Yeah, I think just watching a lot of streams and like copying what streamers do, even if you don't fully understand it right away. I feel like when I was learning the game in set 6, I was watching a lot of like Dish Soap and Setsuko, and I would just copy exactly what they do, even if I didn't understand it. And then now I definitely feel like I like understand TFT on a more fundamental level, and I can make my own choices. But I do think watching streams is like really great way to improve.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, that's all of the questions that we have. I want to thank you again so much for giving us some of your time, right before going in. Good luck for sure. And may you hit all the 3-star forecasts, honestly. And
Oh, thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
we'll be keeping an eye out for you. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you for having me.